Good evening, and thank you for joining me for another Boring Books for Bedtime. I hope tonight's selection provides all the boredom your busy brain needs to quiet down and let you get some sleep. Before we begin, I'd like to give a special shout out of thanks to some new members of our Patreon family: June, Lindsay, Sylvie, Stephanie, and Lindsay. Thank you all so much for supporting this podcast. By becoming members of Patreon, you help us remain 100% listener supported and ad-free for everyone, and it's very much appreciated. And because you're members in the month of May, you and everyone else who becomes a member of Patreon will be eligible for a Patreon exclusive giveaway that I've never done before. At the end of the month, I'll be spinning the random number generator, and 4 patrons will be selecting the readings that I'll be doing in August. That's right, it's your chance to pick your favorite book. Whether it's a new one, a re-recording of something old, or a continuation of a book you just can't get enough of, we'll all be enjoying it. So if you're interested in supporting Boring Books for Bedtime and ensuring your number in that giveaway, you'll find a link to Patreon in the show description. You'll also find a link to buymeacoffee.com, where you can support us with a one-time tip, no subscription required. I hope you'll take a moment to check them out. Now, let's read and relax. Find a comfortable spot. Adjust your volume. Take a nice deep breath in. Let it out slowly. And off we go. Tonight, let's relax with some of the glories of spring as we see what's for sale in the 1890 Seed Annual, published by Gardiner Co., growers, importers, and dealers in vegetable, flower, and farm seeds. 21 North 13th Street, Philadelphia, PA. Let's begin. The John Gardiner Seed Annual. Gardiner seeds blow their own horn, so that we do not require to boom them. We desire, however, to call attention briefly to a few points of importance in the conduct of our business, which those who have not already dealt with us would do well to carefully consider. Satisfaction guaranteed. We realize most fully that in the seed business, more so than in any other, a pleased customer is the best advertisement, and our undivided attention is given to satisfying our patrons so that they shall remain with us permanently. From past experience, we are confident of our ability to please the most fastidious, and all we ask of those who have not yet dealt with us is to send us a trial order and be convinced of the superior quality of our seeds and our fair and square method of doing business. Quality. Our seeds are fresh, clean, tested, and reliable. Our facilities for handling seeds are unsurpassed, and we take the greatest precautions to avoid error. Every safeguard that human ingenuity can devise in system and improved appliances is used, regardless of expense, to ensure correctness. Our prices. The cheapest seeds are not always the best, but the best seeds are always the cheapest. Our seeds are as low in price as is consistent with the best quality. Seeds and bulbs free by mail. All seeds quoted in this catalog, unless otherwise stated, are free by mail at the mailing prices advertised. Where customers order goods by express or freight at their own expense, we allow 8 cents per pound rebate for postage. See special offers on orders by express or freight. Seeds and bulbs free by express. On all orders amounting to $5 and over, we prepay freight or express charges to any part of the United States or Canada when ordered at the mailing prices quoted in the catalog. All items that have special prices affixed for shipment by express or freight at customer's expense are not subject to this rule. Neither does it apply to heavy goods quoted at net prices at our store, such as grasses, grains, fertilizers, implements, etc. We will, however, make the following special inducement in the case of all goods that are quoted net at store. A discount of 10% on all orders amounting to $5 and over from any state or territory in the Union, Canada, or any country in the world. This special discount is in addition to the 25% in seeds, which we allow on all orders for seeds in packets amounting to $1 and over. On all orders for less than $5, made up from this catalog at mailing prices, where customers prefer to pay their own express or freight charges, we will allow a rebate of 8 cents per pound for postage. Remitting money. We receive postage stamps the same as cash, and postal notes are generally very convenient. But when sending money, we recommend for safety where possible to remit either by registered letter, post office order, express order, or by draft on New York. Remittances sent in any of these 4 ways are absolutely safe, and we not only guarantee their safe arrival, but we will also bear the expense of so sending. The cost of remitting the money may be deducted from the amount sent. Our thanks. We are kept busy all the time because we sell the best seeds, charge moderate prices, and do our work well. We expect to be kept busier than ever during 1890. We thank our old friends most heartily and extend a cordial welcome to new customers, assuring all who may trade with us during the year of our best care and attention. We are respectfully yours, John Gardiner Co. Gardiner's Novelties and Specialties in Flower Seeds. We call special attention to the new varieties and special strains offered in the following list. Many of them are novelties of great promise, which are cataloged now for the first time and cannot fail to prove very interesting to all enthusiastic gardeners. We allow no new variety into our list unless it emanates from our own establishment or from some other house of reliability and standing, in whom we repose the utmost confidence. The stocks we offer in specialties are nearly all of them grown exclusively for our special retail trade, and are therefore not to be obtained of such superior excellence from any other source whatever. Beautiful and hardy Japanese lilies that ought to be in every garden. Shipped direct per steamer to John Gardiner Co. from the Japanese bulb farmers and offered at importation prices. The golden-rayed lily of Japan, Lilium auratum. This beautiful variety has been aptly called the queen of lilies. When fully expanded, the flowers measure nearly a foot across. Their fragrance is delicious, and the blending of the colors in the individual blossoms exquisite, being ivory white, thickly strewn with purple studs, with a broad band of light golden yellow extending from tip to base of each petal. This variety is beyond question the grandest of all the lily family, and we offer this season a splendid stock of sound, well-ripened bulbs, our own direct importation from Japan, at a price which commends itself and places this beautiful lily within reach of all. Culture. A light, rich soil, such as would be obtained from well-rotted manure, with a slight addition of sand to keep it open, is the most desirable. Deep planting, 8 to 10 inches, is recommended, and a shady situation, such as a shrubbery border, is preferable. Culture in pots. Select a large-sized pot, say an 8 or 10 inch, and fill with the same compost as recommended for outdoor culture. Dust a little charcoal about the bulb to keep it fresh, and cover 2 inches with soil. Water lightly until the shoot begins to appear. Never apply liquid manure unless as a stimulant when the plant commences to flower. Lilium auratum by the case. Gardiner's $5 case contains 35 extra selected bulbs shipped to any address by express or freight on receipt of price. Gardiner's $3 case contains 20 extra selected bulbs shipped to any address by express or freight on receipt of price. Extra selected bulbs, 20 cents each, $2 per dozen. Mailing, 3 cents each extra. Other beautiful Japanese lilies, the Speciosum group. Speciosum album, large pure white flowers of great substance, beautifully recurved as shown in the engraving. One of the finest lilies in cultivation, and splendid either for the garden or for growing in pots. 25 cents each, $2.50 per dozen. Mailing, 3 cents each. Speciosum roseum, pure white ground, stained and spotted rose, similar to preceding except in color. Thrives excellently in our climate, the bulbs increasing rapidly. Very beautiful. 15 cents each, $1.50 per dozen. Mailing, 3 cents each. Speciosum rubrum, white, heavily spotted with rich crimson, darker than roseum, and equally well adapted for pots or the open ground. A magnificent border plant. Ought to be in every garden. 15 cents each, $1.50 per dozen. Mailing, 3 cents each. Speciosum punctatum, a scarce lily of great beauty, the finest of all the Speciosum group, distinguished for its delicacy and distinctness of coloring, as well as for its grace of form and fine substance. Blush ground, regularly spotted with crimson studs, which are raised above the surface of the petal. Our bulbs are the true punctatum. 50 cents each, $5 per dozen. Mailing, 3 cents each. Book on Lilies. We are often asked, what is the best treatise on lilies that is reliable, practical, and moderate in price? We know of nothing better than Notes on Lilies by Dr. Walker, A very complete work on this favorite class of plants, giving exhaustive cultural instructions, notes from collectors and cultivators in all parts of the world, together with descriptions and illustrations of the plant and bulb growth of every known variety. A reliable guide for beginners. We supply copies at $1.18 each. Mailing 9 cents. Japanese chrysanthemum. The seed we offer is imported direct from Japan. When it is reflected that some of the most highly prized varieties in cultivation here at the present time have been raised from seed imported from Japan, the probability of raising new and remarkable varieties from this imported seed will be apparent. 1 packet, 25 cents. Japanese dianthus. Like the chrysanthemum, this is another favorite flower of the Japanese and has been brought by them to very great perfection. The blossoms are very large and beautifully formed, exquisitely fringed and laced, running through a great variety of brilliant and showy colors. Imported Japanese seed, 1 packet, 25 cents. Aquilegia stewarti. This valuable novelty is a cross between Grigger's glandulosa and Aquilegia whitmani. The raiser Dr. Stewart says, "From the flower thus fertilized, a pod was gathered and the seed sown at once. 7 plants lived to be planted out in the autumn in a sheltered border. These all bore flowers identically the same, the top blooms measuring 4 inches and more across. I showed a quantity of the blooms to Professor Balfour, Edinburgh University, and to John Sadler, curator of the Edinburgh Botanic Gardens, and to many other competent judges, who all considered it a first-rate novelty, and it was then and there named A. Stewarti by Professor Balfour. I claim the following points of superiority over A. glandulosa for this hybrid. It is much larger, more free-flowering, and far more refined in form. The much-admired glandulosa of Grigger is a very shy flowerer, and most veteran gardeners consider it quite a feat to have it in perfection. In the new form raised by Dr. Stewart, this defect is to a large extent removed, and one of the finest herbaceous plants in cultivation is thus brought within the range of cultivation, alike to amateurs and professionals. We have great pleasure in being able to introduce this valuable hybrid, and beg to state that our stock is procured directly from the originator, Dr. Stewart, and can be thoroughly depended on. Owing to the limited amount of seed available for distribution the present season, we would advise early application in order to avoid disappointment. 1 packet, 25 cents. Rare columbines worthy of special mention. Of the many forms of this valuable herbaceous perennial, Aquilegia, worthy of a place in every garden, we recommend the following. They are of great beauty and are justly admired not only for their beautiful flowers, but also for their charming habit and graceful foliage. Aquilegia glandulosa vera, Griggers. Very large, dark blue flowers with pure white corolla. Very beautiful. 1 packet, 25 cents. Aquilegia vervenena double violet. Very double dark violet flowers, rare and distinct. 1 packet, 10 cents. 1 ounce, $2. Aquilegia jescani. Large yellow flowers with red spurs, splendid. 1 packet, 20 cents. Aquilegia coralea hybrida, blue and white, large and beautiful, 1 packet, 10 cents. 1 ounce, $2.50. Aquilegia californica hybrida, golden yellow, sepals and spurs red, 1 packet, 10 cents. 1 ounce, $2. Aquilegia double carnation striped, very beautiful, 1 packet, 25 cents. Aquilegia skinneri, scarlet tipped with yellow. This is a very fine variety. 1 packet, 10 cents. 1 ounce, $2.50. New tuberous-rooted begonias. The marvelous improvement made in this class of plants during the past few seasons by such men as Cannell, Lang, Box, and others has excited the wonder and admiration of flower lovers in both hemispheres to a remarkable extent. Their free-flowering qualities are well known and appreciated, and when the magnificent developments in the size of the flowers, their brilliant colors, and diversity of form is considered, it is a small wonder that this new race should create a sensation. Blooms measuring 3 to 4 inches in diameter are frequent, and there are well-authenticated instances on record of blooms measuring as much as 6 inches in diameter. Indications point to this as the flower of the future for summer bedding as well as for pot culture. Our stocks are procured direct from the most successful raisers. Begonia new tuberous rooted Lang's gold medal strain, 1 packet, 50 cents. Begonia new tuberous rooted Cannell's superb strain, 1 packet, 50 cents. Begonia new tuberous rooted Box's prize strain, 1 packet, 50 cents. Begonia new tuberous rooted International Prize strain, an extra selected strain of single and double varieties, 1 packet, 50 cents. Cup and Saucer Canterbury Bell. Of all the odd shapes and flowers of recent introduction, we think this strange departure in the old-fashioned and ever-popular Canterbury Bell is one of the most remarkable. Our engraving gives a fair idea of one of these freaks, and there are many others in this strain of even more pronounced variation from the old style. This strain is not only very remarkable, it is also exceedingly beautiful and entirely distinct, and will be quite an acquisition to this class of hardy border perennials, which are now receiving more attention than they have ever for many years. For adding variety to the garden, and for making permanent beds and borders at small expense, they are unsurpassed, and no garden is complete without a full selection. They form most handsome and effective auxiliaries to our summer bedding plants. This new strain comprises great variety in color and much diversity of form and habit, while their freedom of bloom is all that can be desired. Succeed well in rich soil and are of the easiest cultivation. 1 packet, 15 cents. 4 for 50 cents. Yellow Sweet Sultan, Centaurea salviolens. Not by any means a novelty, but of such sterling merit as a plant admirably adapted for cutting during the summer months that we desire to call special attention to it here. Some of our prominent growers for the market are growing it very largely, finding a ready sale for its neat and beautifully formed, bright yellow flowers. The edges of the petals are very finely cut, which gives the flower a most peculiar and elegant furry appearance. It has long stems, carries and keeps well, and altogether is one of the best annuals we know, both for the market and home use. 1 packet, 5 cents. 1 ounce, 60 cents. A gem for cut flowers, Pyrethrum uliginosum. An excellent herbaceous perennial, blooming first season from seed, bears very large pure white single flowers, profuse bloomer, and excellent for cutting. 1 packet, 15 cents. 4 for 50 cents. New single chrysanthemums. Single flowers appeal very forcibly to our artistic feelings, as witness the great favor in which our improved strains of single dahlias, hollyhocks, and other favorite old-fashioned flowers are held. They have a gracefulness and arch simplicity about them, which at once appeals to an aesthetic taste in a way that never happens with the very showiest of double flowers. And now that we are all half crazy over the bewildering magnificence, the oriental splendor of the latest productions in double Japanese and Chinese chrysanthemums, we cannot do better than call your attention to the great merits of the single annual chrysanthemums for the decoration of the summer garden and for growing in pots for spring flowering. They embrace a remarkable range of color, with a shape and substance all that can be desired, and with good cultivation measure 2 to 2.5 inches in diameter. Choose from Eclipse, golden yellow, dark brown disc and purple ring. 1 packet, 5 cents. 1 ounce, $1. Golden feather, new golden-leaved variety. Flowers white with crimson and yellow rings and dark center. 1 packet, 5 cents. 1 ounce, $1.50. Lord Beaconsfield, crimson maroon, edged with gold. 1 packet, 5 cents. 1 ounce, $1. The Sultan, deep crimson, gold band next to center. 1 packet, 5 cents. 1 ounce, $1. Purpureum, single deep crimson. 1 packet, 5 cents. 1 ounce, 50 cents. Album, single white. 1 packet, 5 cents. 1 ounce, 50 cents. Burrajanum, single white with crimson band and yellow center. 1 packet, 5 cents. 1 ounce, 50 cents. Frutescens, the Paris daisy or marguerite, golden and white. Each packet, 10 cents. 1 ounce, $2.50. Mixture of above sorts. 1 packet, 5 cents. 1 ounce, $1. Golden Coreopsis. The golden coreopsis, Coreopsis lanceolata, is one of the most valuable of our summer flowering herbaceous plants. The flowers are bright golden yellow, beautifully fringed, and are produced freely all summer until late into the fall. Its freedom of bloom is remarkable, the plant being literally covered with flowers. When grown in a mass, the effect is charming. Excellent for cutting, lasting well, and making up gracefully in bouquets. The root is perennial, perfectly hardy, sown early, with flower first season from seed, 1 packet, 15 cents. Rare cactus from seed. Every lover of the wonderful and curious is interested in these plants. The remarkable ease and little care required for the growing of them is well known and appreciated. Of late years, they have become so popular that we have decided to give our customers an opportunity of having a collection at an insignificant cost. Their large and beautiful flowers and curious and wonderful shapes are a source of perpetual delight, and this fine effect is produced with scarcely any attention. When established, they may be left without watering for months without any injury. The seed which we here offer is a mixture of all the best sorts, making fine, vigorous growth, and from each package may be obtained a very fine and valuable collection of these interesting curiosities. 1 packet, 15 cents. 4 packets for 50 cents. Culture. Sow in shallow flower pot saucers nearly filled with open sandy soil. Cover seed with about 1/16 inch of sand. Cover with a piece of glass. Place the saucer in a larger one, kept full of water. The soil in smaller saucer will thus be kept continuously damp. When plants are large enough to handle, transplant singly in small pots using same kind of soil. For further information regarding cacti, see Hints on Cacti, price 10 cents, or with 1 plant, 15 cents. Chatter's Prize Hollyhocks. New prize varieties. Magnificent spikes of flowers, unrivaled for variety and delicacy of color. The remarkable richness and variety of color in this prize strain has excited the wonder and admiration of all beholders. At the leading horticultural exhibitions, they have taken first rank for their magnificent spikes of flowers, as well as for their unrivaled richness and delicacy of coloring. The flowers are superbly double, and the colors embrace the richest shades of yellow, rose, crimson, primrose, lavender, mauve, white, etc. Now that the pendulum of fashion in the world of gardening is on the return swing from the extreme use of soft, wooded plants to the more extensive use of herbaceous plants, the hollyhock is certainly one of the first of our old favorites to be reinstated to the prominent position it formerly held as a decorative plant. They are far more easily raised from seeds than is generally supposed, and if our instructions are properly followed, they can be had in flower the first season, although the usual way is to sow in August for next season's flowering. But there is no reason why this excellent plant should not be had in flower 5 months after sowing, just as well as the dahlia, which is now quite extensively grown in this way. Price per packet, 25 cents. 1 ounce, $5. Price for collection of 6 colors, 70 cents. Collection of 12 colors, $1.25. Gardener's Fairy Sweet Peas. The sweet pea on tiptoe for a flight, to use the apt and expressive phrase of Keats, is such a universal favorite with all lovers of beautiful flowers that we feel sure of a welcome for our fairy collection. They are so graceful, so bright, so fragrant, so responsive to the smallest attention, that they always carry sweetness and light in their train. Their beautiful clusters of richly colored blossoms so brilliant, and yet withal so arch and graceful, are a very dream of loveliness when seen in perfection, and a sight never to be forgotten. Our fairy collection is brimful of new and improved varieties, and overflows with choice and charming colors. There are many who eschew the growing of flowers on account of the care and trouble they entail. The sweet pea takes care of itself, and if you plant nothing else, be sure to get a good supply of our fairies. A pound package will sow a row of 80 feet. Gardiner's Fairy Sweet Peas, choicest mixture of the most charming colors, by mail, prepaid, 1 packet 10 cents, quarter pound 35 cents, half pound 65 cents, 1 pound $1.25, 5 pounds $5. Kalanchoe carnea, a new species from the Cape of Good Hope, with large umbels of beautiful pink flowers, delicately yet sweetly fragrant, borne on long stems and very profusely. It has a peculiar and pleasing fragrance, and grows quite readily from seed. Thrives best in a mixture of loam and sand. 1 packet 25 cents. New English Primroses. The New English Primroses under notice are entirely distinct in color, comprising the most enchanting shades. There is not a dull or ineffective color among them. All are most attractive and bright. They are of the easiest possible culture, growing as readily as the ordinary yellow, and producing their flowers in the greatest profusion. Dotted here and there on the rockwork, they make a most enchanting display in early spring. For the border, they are splendid, making a grand display grown in clumps. Excellent subjects for growing in pots or pans. They require some protection during winter in the north, but if grown in a shady border, they need none whatever. 1 packet, 25 cents. Mikado Poppy, a recent novelty, and one so unique and handsome that we are compelled to give it special mention and recommend all who have not yet grown it to do so this season without fail. Flowers double scarlet and white, curled like a Japanese chrysanthemum, very showy, beautiful and distinct. Height 18 inches. This is an annual. 1 packet, 15 cents. Primula obconica, ever-blooming primrose. Introduced from central China into England in 1882, the flowers are a pale lilac, borne in umbels on long stems. The fragrance is delicate and pleasing, the peculiar primrose odor, the most delicate of all perfumes. In addition to beauty of flower and fragrance, it possesses 2 other characteristics of paramount importance. It will flower continuously for the greater portion of the year. Some growers assert they can have flowers all the year round with a little management. And last but not least, it has remarkable keeping properties after being cut, remaining fresh in water from 4 to 6 weeks. 1 packet, 25 cents. Per 1,000 seeds, $1. New Mammoth Verbena. The new mammoth verbenas were introduced by Henderson in 1888 and created quite a sensation, being altogether unique in their immense size and charming colors. The shades and markings in this strain comprise many hitherto unknown in this genus. A single well-grown truss of flowers, will measure about 9 inches in circumference, while the individual florets are as large as a 25-cent piece. The introducers say the great improvement in size is certain to increase the popularity of the verbena as a summer bedding plant. This new strain blooms just as freely as any of the older varieties with which we are familiar and is much more vigorous in growth. Verbena seeds sown in the open ground in May will flower in August, but if raised in a hotbed in March or April and transplanted when 4 inches high, they will show flower in June or July. Florists who wish to have plants large enough for spring sales sow generally in January or February. The earlier the sowing, the larger the plants when it is time to set them out. 1 packet, 15 cents. 4 for 50 cents. New miniature sunflower. This charming new sunflower was in great demand last season for cut flowers. The blooms are small, single, as shown in our engraving, and are of a bright golden yellow with a dark center. Annette S. Wakefield writes, on October 5th, I have over 40 plants of miniature sunflower, none of which exceeds 4 feet in height. They are very bushy and literally covered with flowers, 3 1/4 inches in diameter and quite round. They are perfection for cutting and last well in water. The foliage is very pretty and bright, the individual leaves being small, scarcely exceeding 2 inches in length. As regards duration of flowering, my plants have been in flower since the beginning of July and show no signs of ceasing at date of writing, October 5th. All who have grown this fine sunflower are delighted with it. 1 packet, 10 cents. 6 for 50 cents. The Wild Flower Garden. There is something so racy and coy about things away from the haunts of man that an irresistible interest is excited in them, entirely distinct from that produced by the most gorgeous and charming flowers in the home garden. No doubt the element of surprise has a good deal to do with this. A clump of blue gentian or purple columbines appearing unexpectedly in the course of a woodland walk will give more keen delight than the fairest of Flora's offerings in their accustomed places. There is certainly the keenest enjoyment in seeing those Ishmaelites springing up spontaneously in their own deliciously fugitive way in some out-of-the-way corner, along woodland walks and shrubberies, by the margins of streams and lakes, on the rockery and other semi-wild spots of a similar nature. We furnish a mixture of seeds suitable for scattering here and there in such locations. This mixture contains every imaginable kind of flower and is put up under tall growing and dwarf growing, the dwarf growing mixture being specially adapted for rockeries and places where tall growing plants would be unsightly. The tall growing mixture may be used with advantage in the backgrounds of shrubberies or alongside of fences, etc. The seeds need not be scattered thickly, a few here and there, wherever they would be likely to spring up and embellish the surroundings. If dropped at random in this way, the surprise and delight of some unexpected blossom peeping up in an out-of-the-way corner, shy of making acquaintance, will be all the more pronounced. Another use to which this mixture of seeds may be put is for furnishing flowers for bouquets. Make a special bed of them in some corner of the garden and let them grow at will. In this way they will furnish an endless supply of flowers for cutting, the different seasons of bloom, ensuring variety all through the summer. Do not fail to get a good supply of these seeds along with your order. There is great possibility in this direction, and you are missing something charming if you do not procure plenty. Tall growing mixture, 1/2 ounce packet, 25 cents, 5 for $1. Dwarf growing mixture, 1/2 ounce packet, 25 cents, 5 for $1. Some additional novelties worthy of special mention. Dianthus hedwigi, the bride, an entirely distinct and very beautiful variety, with flowers of large size and perfect form. Snowy white with a conspicuous velvety purple spot in the center. The center spot is of an intense deep color and contrasts very strikingly with the snowy whiteness of the flower. The plants are of a fine, bushy habit, very profuse bloomers. 1 packet, 10 cents. New dwarf, large flowering forget-me-not, Myosotis elegantissima, a new and entirely distinct variety of very great value both for cutting and market purposes. It is as hardy as a pansy, and may be treated in the same way, not to be confounded with any other variety of Myosotis. It is entirely distinct. The habit is very dwarf and compact, and the flowers are very large and fine, much superior to the common forget-me-not. It must prove of very great value, especially to florists who grow plants for market. Stock this season very limited. Apply early to avoid disappointment. Packet of 100 seeds, 25 cents. 250 seeds, 50 cents. 500 seeds, 75 cents. 1,000 seeds, $1. Aster non plus ultra. The habit of this new aster is very distinct, the branches being arranged candelabra form, making a beautiful circular bush 18 inches in diameter and not more than 12 or 13 inches in height. The flowers are carried well above the foliage, are enormously large, perfectly double, and resemble the finest Victoria asters in form. Colors crimson, rose, and white. Each per packet, 25 cents. Plymouth petunias, Henders strain. Probably the finest strain of petunias in existence at present. We know of nothing to equal them, either for size, substance, or color. Superb in every way. A prominent grower writes us, the Hender petunias are simply superb. Some of them are exquisitely fringed, and all have immense flowers and fine colors. Single per packet, 25 cents. Double per packet, 50 cents. Rosy Morn Poppy. This new poppy is a really superb novelty. We had it on trial last season for the first time and were greatly struck with its beauty. The flowers are extremely double and of good size, forming perfect balls of a most unique and beautiful shade of rose, an entirely new and distinct color in poppies. We consider this quite an acquisition. Per packet, 10 cents. And with that, I think we'll end this evening's reading from the 1890 catalog of Gardiner's Seed Novelties and Specialties. It almost makes me want to start a garden myself, despite the fact that I'm one of those people who can't seem to keep any plant alive. I hope you enjoyed that. Unfortunately, this particular catalog is not available through Gutenberg, so I won't be able to leave a link for you, which is a shame because it's filled with beautiful engravings. I'll see if I can't drop a few on Patreon so you can see them for yourself. If you'd like to connect, suggest a boring book you'd like to hear read, or request more from one we've already started, you can drop me an email via our website, www.boringbookspod.com. It's always a pleasure to hear from you. Thank you so much for joining me for this evening's reading. Until our next boring book, good night.